This lesson is on capitalization. As always, please be sure to write all of these notes in your notebook. Using capital letters correctly. Capital letters are used to mark the beginnings of sentences, distinguish proper nouns from common nouns, and to indicate other words that deserve special attention. The first rule of capitalization is to capitalize the first word in every sentence. Take, for example, the sentence, "More and more people are discovering the benefits of exercise." The first word of the sentence, more, is capitalized. In this particular sentence, it is the only word that is capitalized. Let's look at another example. Daily workouts at the gym or on the running track strengthen the heart. The first word in this sentence is daily, and it is capitalized, the capital D. One more example. Regular exercise has many other benefits. For instance, it can help you sleep well at night. The first word of this sentence is regular and is capitalized. You also notice a second sentence, for instance, it can help you sleep well at night. The first word of this sentence, for, is capitalized. Our next rule of capitalization is to capitalize the first word of a directly quoted sentence. Take some time to write down our first example. "One of the hamsters looks sick," said Philippe. In this sentence, the directly quoted sentence is "one of the hamsters looks sick," and the first word of this sentence, one, is capitalized with a capital O. You also notice that the F in Philippe is capitalized, but we'll talk more about proper nouns later on in the slideshow. Our next example, Gordon asked, "How long does it take to bake a dozen cookies?" We see that Gordon's capitalized because it's the first word of the sentence, but we also notice that how is capitalized because it's the first word of a directly quoted sentence. How long does it take to bake a dozen cookies? Our next rule of capitalization is to capitalize the first word of a sentence fragment used in dialogue. Write down the following sentence. "Not now," Vanessa replied. "Maybe later." Now we know from previous capitalization rules that the word not is capitalized because it's the first word of the sentence. But you'll notice that the word maybe is also capitalized. This is because it's the first word of a sentence fragment, that fragment being maybe later. Let's look at another example. "Fish are friends," said Bruce. "Not food." Fish is capitalized because it's the first word of the sentence. Not food is a sentence fragment, and the word not is capitalized because it's being used in dialogue. Our next rule of capitalization is to always capitalize the pronoun I. Take some time to write down the following example. "I want to be a scientist when I grow up." In this sentence, the pronoun I is used twice. Once at the beginning of the sentence, "I want to be," and once in the middle, "when I grew up." In both cases, regardless of the pronoun I's position in the sentence, I is capitalized. Take a look at the next example. "What should I do about my missing homework?" The pronoun I is in the middle of the sentence, and it is capitalized. Our next rule of capitalization is to capitalize the interjection O. The interjection O is most often used on solemn or formal occasions. It is usually followed by a word in a direct address. This rule of capitalization is not especially common in modern English, but you may recognize it from chapel. For instance, "Hear our prayer, O Lord." In this sentence, the O before Lord is capitalized. Let's look at another example. "Protect us in battle, O great Athena." You see here that the letter O is capitalized before the direct address to great Athena. And last but not least, our final rule of capitalization, capitalize proper nouns. Now, as a reminder, a common noun names one of a group of persons, places, things, or ideas, but a proper noun names a particular person, place, thing, or idea. Take, for example, the sentence, "My favorite baseball team is the Atlanta Braves. We know that the first word of the sentence, my, is capitalized. Baseball team, however, is not capitalized because it's a common noun. On the other hand, Atlanta Braves is capitalized because it's a proper noun, Atlanta being a place and the Braves being a thing or an organization. At long last, the moment you have been waiting for. Let's practice. First, write each sentence in your notebook. If there are errors in the use of capital letters, identify the word or words that should be changed by using copy editing marks. Then, rewrite the entire sentence with proper capitalization. If a sentence is already correct, write correct. In your notebook, please write down the following sentence as it appears on your screen. There will be a short address by the Secretary of Labor. Go ahead and pause the video while you identify all of the capitalization errors, if any. Ready? The first capitalization error is the first word of the sentence. The word there should be capitalized because it is the very first word in the sentence. To designate that a lowercase letter needs to be capitalized, draw 3 lines under the letter. The next error is the word short. It should not be capitalized because it is not a proper noun. To show that an uppercase letter needs to be lowercased, draw a diagonal line through the letter. The next error is the title Secretary of Labor. This is a proper noun and needs to be capitalized. Remember to draw 3 lines under each letter that needs to be capitalized. Now that you have identified all of the mistakes, rewrite the sentence with proper capitalization. It should look something like this. In your notebook, please write down the next example. If I need a ride, I will give you a call. Go ahead and pause the video while you identify all of the capitalization mistakes. Ready? The first capitalization error is the first word of the sentence, if. If should be capitalized because it's the first word of the sentence. Again, to show that a lowercase letter needs to be capitalized, draw 3 lines under the letter. The next mistake is the pronoun I. The pronoun I is always capitalized. The next mistake is, once again, the pronoun I. It's always capitalized. And to show that a lowercase letter needs to be uppercase, draw 3 lines under the letter. The next mistake is the word give. It should not be capitalized because it's not a proper noun. To show that an uppercase letter needs to be lowercase, draw a diagonal line through it. Now that you've identified all of the mistakes in the sentence, rewrite the sentence with correct capitalization. It should look like this. This is our final example. Please be sure to write it in your notebook as it appears on the screen. Thanks, I replied, but no thanks. Go ahead and pause the video while you identify all of the capitalization errors. Ready? The first mistake is the first word of the sentence, thanks. It should be capitalized because it's the first word of the sentence. The next mistake is the pronoun I. It should be capitalized because it's a pronoun I is always capitalized. There's one more mistake. Did you catch it? The word but should be capitalized because it's the first word of a sentence fragment in dialogue. Now that you've identified all of the mistakes, please rewrite the sentence with correct capitalization. It should look like this. Now that we've finished all the examples, let's review the rules of capitalization. Be sure to write all of these down in your notebook. Capitalize the first word in every sentence. Capitalize the first word of a directly quoted sentence. Capitalize the first word of a sentence fragment used in dialogue. Capitalize the pronoun I. Capitalize the interjection O. Capitalize proper nouns.